vibes.
When your music rocks and your station rocks.
What would I do without your smile now?
Ready, set, it's going down.
Right here at Yes Media Academy Radio. The rhythm goes on.
Girl, I wanna be your owner.
We raise the roof all day, every day. Feel the vibes.
When your music rocks and your station rocks.
What would I do without your smile now?
Ready, set, it's going down.
Right here at Yes Media Academy Radio. The rhythm goes on.
It's a beautiful Monday morning from the city of Ibadan. Today, the 13th day in the month of July 2020. We want to welcome you to another edition of the program, The Newspaper Review, live from the studios of Yes Smile Radio, the First Media Academy Radio. It's a pleasure to be back, and we thank the Almighty for the grace bestowed upon us all to be here. My name is Olatunde Idowu, welcoming you, and obviously my better part is here as well.
Beautiful morning to you. My name is Inioluwa Akintayo.
Two papers are with me. Okay, before I even go to the papers, when are you going to start adding the Idowu to your name? I don't know. I don't know. All right, two papers are with me, The Punch and The Vanguard.
With me is The Nation newspaper.
From the headlines I have here, from The Punch newspaper, seized properties cornered by top EFCC officials. Magu's friends, that's credited to the panel. It's in the inside pages of The Punch for today.
My first story is on the front page of The Nation newspaper, which says, why US, UK, others are monitoring Magu's probe, with the riders concerned about allegations, probe process, fair hearing, anti-graft campaign. 550 billion naira recovered fund in TSA, says EFCC boss, and Malami defends crude oil sales.
I didn't campaign for Buhari while with Jonathan. That's credited to Dasuki, and it's in the inside pages of the Punch newspaper.
Second story here with me says, more dust in Ondo over Deputy Governor Ajayi, with the riders. Home APC local government chapter asks him to quit government. APC hears appeal. House rejects call for speaker's exit.
Petrol subsidy gulped 101.6 billion naira in 3 months. That's credited to the NNPC.
Doctors begin 3-day warning strike.
Oh my, I mind.
Don't worry, you have the full details when we go. And it's not, I don't think it's not a national thing, it's just a state thing.
Okay, either way, with this pandemic ravaging the world, the doctors, they've been frontline workers, all the frontline workers.
Their safety is really
honestly. Okay. Fraudster detains American lady in Lagos hotel, defrauds her of 18.5 million naira. Wow. Oh my goodness, Nigerians. All right.
Okay, my next story, I think, is some good news for the residents of Oyo State, Ibadan, and some other southwestern states. Leader of 1 million boys gang shot dead in Ibadan.
Yeah, yesterday afternoon at about noon, and when the story got to us here, we broke the news, and I wondered, I hope there's going to be peace around that area.
It's good news for me, because where I live in, it was sleepless nights upon sleepless nights.
Goodness me. All right, my last story here from the Punch newspaper. Nigeria can't grow with generator-driven economy. That's credited to MAN, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. And that's true because, for instance, there isn't any evening, anything from 6:37. I run generator till about 10, 11. I don't know, but we just hope things will get better. And it's part of the story.
That wouldn't have been if the power supply is constant and regular.
Yeah, for instance, the federal government, they've ordered power projects contractors back to sites. So if they can just get back, give them their mobilization, and let's see. But we need 24 hours constant, uninterrupted power supply.
Hopefully, that will be.
It will be. Trust me, Nigerians getting there.
Amen.
Let's get down to the business of the morning as we take you around the papers we have for you this morning. Ini?
All right, I'll start with my first story here, which says why US, UK, others are monitoring Magu's probe. Some of Nigeria's strategic partners in the corruption battle have taken more than a passing interest in the ongoing probe into activities of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) under suspended acting chairman Ibrahim Magu. Key countries, some of them having mutual legal assistance treaties with the country, are monitoring the process of the investigation. It was learned during the weekend. They include the United States (US), the United Kingdom (UK), the United Arab Emirates (UAE), France, and Switzerland. For 1 week, Magu has been detained. He was accosted on the road in Abuja and dragged to appear before the Justice Issa Ayo Salami Presidential Investigation Panel, which is probing allegations leveled against him by Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami. On Sunday, he denied the claim that he failed to account for the interest in the 550 billion naira recovered fund kept in CBN's custody. In a statement by his lawyer, Wahab Shitu, Magu said such recovered fund kept with the Central Bank of Nigeria do not generate interest. Why US, UK, others are monitoring Magu's probe?
Seized properties cornered by top EFCC officials and Magu's friends. That's credited to the panel. The writer there says suspended commission boss failed to account for 332 recovered houses. All allegations are lies, concocted to tarnish Magu's image, says counsel. The suspended acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Magu, could not give a proper account of missing 332 out of the 836 recovered properties in March 2018. It was reported on Sunday that the latest allegation against the suspended EFCC boss was contained in a report of the Presidential Committee on Audit of Recovered Assets. It also stated that the panel alleged that recovered properties were taken over by some top EFCC officials or sold to Magu's friends and cronies at giveaway prices. The news agency had on Saturday reported that the panel, in its report titled Final Report of the Presidential Investigation Committee on the EFCC Federal Government Recovered Assets and Finances from May 2015 to May 2020, alleged that Magu was unable to account for the interest generated from 550 billion naira cash recovered from 2015 to 2020. It's a very long story. You can just check it out from the inside pages of the Punch newspaper with the headline, Seized Properties Cornered by Top EFCC Officials and Magu's Friends. That's credited to the panel.
More dust in Ondo over Deputy Governor Ajayi. The dust over the impeachment proceedings against embattled Ondo State Deputy Governor Agboola Ajayi has not settled. All Progressives Congress APC leaders from Eseodo local government area, where he hails from, dissociated themselves from his defection to the People's Democratic Party (PDP) at the weekend and asked him to resign his position for jumping ship. Ajayi defected from the All Progressives Congress APC, the platform on which he was elected, to the People's Democratic Party (PDP), where he is seeking the governorship ticket. The House of Assembly last week began an impeachment process with a letter to the Chief Judge to constitute a panel to investigate its allegations of gross misconduct against the Deputy Governor. But the CJ has declared, saying the House of Assembly had not met all the conditions. Reacting to moves by the House to impeach him, Agboola asked the Speaker, Bamidele Oloyelogun to either resign or be removed by the lawmaker. But returning his salvos, the House dared the governor to use his purported majority members to remove the speaker. Also, as the ruling APC prepares for the shadow poll scheduled for Monday, the party clarified that protesting governorship aspirants cannot dictate the mode of primary to the chapter. More dust in Ondo over Deputy Governor Ajayi. For full details of this story, you have it on the page 12 of the Nation newspaper.
I didn't campaign for Buhari while with Jonathan. That's credited to Dasuki. A former National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki, has denied campaigning for the president. Major General Muhammadu Buhari retired while serving as ex-president Goodluck Jonathan's NSA. Dasuki said this in a statement yesterday titled, "I never campaigned for APC or Buhari as NAS to President Jonathan." He said, and I quote, "The truth is that I was involved in an attempt at forging an alliance between the Action Congress of Nigeria, All Nigeria People's Party, and the Congress for Progressive Change, among others, prior to the 2011 election, which was not successful. My involvement in that political process ended after the elections of 2011. At the point of accepting the appointment to serve as the National Security Advisor in 2012, I made clear to President Jonathan that I had relationship with General Muhammadu Buhari of the CPC, Ashwaju Ahmed Tinubu of the ACN, and Chief Ogbonnaya Onu of the ANPP, among other opposition elements, and that my appointment will not cause me to sever the relationship." Still quoting Dasuki, he said, "I however assured him that I will never betray him as a man of honor. I kept to my words." It's a long story. You can check it out from the inside pages of the Punch newspaper. I didn't campaign for Buhari while with Jonathan. That's credited to Sambo Dasuki.
Still reading from the Nation newspaper, doctors begin 3-day warning strike. Doctors under the aegis of the Medical Guild in Lagos State are to begin 3 days warning strike from today over issues that affect their safety and welfare. The news agency of Nigeria, NAN, reports that Medical Guild is the association of medical doctors in the employ of the Lagos State government. The chairman of the guild, Dr. Oluwajimi Shodipo, who addressed reporters yesterday in Lagos, said the strike, which would run till July 16, would exempt members working in the state's COVID-19 isolation centers. He said Congress of the Guild on June 27 extended the 2 weeks ultimatum to the state government after expiration of its initial 21 days ultimatum to resolve the issues. The Guild leader noted that the grace period was given to the government to meet 70% of the doctors' demands in order to avert the strike. Doctors begin 3-day warning strike.
Please, our admonish government, please look into their demands, and at this point, it is necessary. It's still a newspaper review coming to you from Yesma Radio, the First Media Academy Radio. I'll take my next story. It's on the business side. Petrol subsidy gulped 101.6 billion naira in 3 months. That's credited to the NNPC. Latest figures released by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation have shown that petrol subsidy gulped 101.65 billion naira in the first 3 months of the year. In its just released monthly financial and operations March 2020 report, the national oil firm, however, described the subsidy spending as under recovery. It had consistently argued that only the National Assembly was empowered to approve petrol subsidy, despite the fact that NNPC's monthly under recoveries were due to subsidy on petrol. An analysis of the latest report on Sunday showed that the corporation spent 43.31 billion naira as subsidy on petrol in January this year. In February, it incurred 20.68 billion naira as under recovery, while in March the oil firm spent 37.66 billion naira on subsidy. Petrol subsidy was, however, halted in March 2020 by the Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Agency following the crash in global crude oil prices. Petrol subsidy gobbled 101.6 billion naira in 3 months. That's credited to the NNPC.
Leader of 1 million boys gang shot dead in Ibadan. The police in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, have killed the leader of the 1 million boys gang and most wanted criminal Biola Ebila. Police spokesman Olugbenga Fadeyi confirmed the death of Ebila yesterday in Ibadan in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria, NAN. Fadeyi, however, said he did not have the details and manner in which the deceased was killed. He said, and I quote, "Information reaching me from the divisional police officer Idiarere showed that his body and that of his colleagues who confronted the policemen strategically deployed in that axis were brought with a tricycle to Kudeti." NAN reports that Ebila, who had been on the wanted list of Oyo State Police Command, was reportedly killed around Olomi area of Ibadan. The deceased was declared wanted by the command for alleged involvement in the murder of another Ibadan gang leader, Ekugbemi, on May 12. Leader of 1 million boys gang shot dead in Ibadan.
Wow. COVID-19. Reverend Okotie attacks Bill Gates, says supported by key leaders. Reverend Chris Okotie of the Household of God Church has condemned the alleged role played by U.S. billionaire Bill Gates in the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. In an 80-minute video released early Sunday on YouTube, the pastor sensationally accused Bill Gates of leading a global conspiracy to destabilize the world economy and execute a satanic agenda against the church. He claimed that the COVID-19 pandemic was a bizarre project conceived by the billionaire in association with some powerful elements in the multilateral institution supported by key leaders of government around the world to achieve sinister objective. Reverend Okotie listed this objective as a systematic reduction of the world population through the increasing COVID-19 deaths, enforcement of a global lockdown to ruin the economies of nations and impoverish the people and frustrate true worship of the living God. To back up this grave allegation, the Reverend Okotie quoted diverse scriptures and, in his usual biblical exposition of complex doctrines, explained from the Gates family tree how the billionaire figures in Satan's end-time assault on the church. You can get the full detail from the Vanguard newspaper. COVID-19, Reverend Okotie attacks Bill Gates, says supported by key leaders.
My last story for this morning says Nigeria loses 2.5 trillion naira to fraud, says forensic body. The Society for Forensic Accountants and Fraud Prevention, SFAFP, has said 2.5 trillion naira is lost yearly in the national budget to public sector fraud and corruption. Speaking at a virtual induction of 192 associates at the weekend, SFAFP chairman Ilyasu Gashimbaki said the continent was losing about 25% of annual budget to these notorious schemes. Gashimbaki promised that the society would assist in plugging the leakages. SFAFP listed 10 most common schemes by which public officers bled the country as unlawful use of public assets for private advances, underpayment of taxes and duties on exports as well as imports. Others, it said, were fraud and embezzlement, payment of salary to ghost workers, bribery and extortion, payment of air supply, goods or services not provided or rendered, over and under invoicing, fraudulent court awards of financial compensations above damage suffered. The society, he said, would provide technical support for the public and private sectors. Nigeria loses 2.5 trillion naira to fraud, says forensic body.
And quickly, before we leave this morning, I'll take this last story from the Punch newspaper with the headline, Lagos seals 33 religious and social facilities. The Lagos State Safety Commission on Sunday said it had sealed 33 religious and social facilities for operating against the state's established COVID-19 reopening protocols. The facilities included bars, lounge, restaurants, gyms, and spas. The Director General of the agency, Larry Mojola, in a statement, said the enforcement exercise affirmed that the state will not hesitate to deal with erring or non-compliant facilities. He reiterated that the state had zero tolerance for establishments that continue to violate the state regulations and laws. Lagos seals 33 religious social facilities. You can check it from the inside pages of the Punch newspaper. All right, it's about time. Thank you for being there with us today on the newspaper review from Yesma Radio, the First Media Academy Radio. We will be leaving at this moment to be back again tomorrow. At 10 o'clock, it will be time to join Shola Igbajeje on Ere Daraya, yes. And 11, it will be time to join the Big Wheel on the program Yes Morning. On behalf of my very humble self and the entire transmission team and my sensational Ini, my name is Olatunde Ido. Ini.
I am Inioluwa Akintayo. Have a bright morning.
Get the vibes. Get